Hey guys, it's Mason. Welcome back to Game Boys in the Wild. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Game Boy Advance. We are going to be turning this Game Boy Advance right here into a Nintendo 64 Funtastic Fire Orange inspired Game Boy Advance. So we're going to have a special shell, special sticker, all the works. We're also going to be talking about how to install a Funnyplaying IPS V2 with adjustable brightness. So lots of fun things today. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and as always, thank you for watching. So this video today is actually a commission job that a friend of mine reached out on Instagram and asked if I would build him a Game Boy, and of course I obliged. And so I told him about these special new lenses that I'd gotten and stickers from Bluish Squirrel. I'll leave a link down in the description to these, but as you can see, it's a special Nintendo 64 lens and sticker, so those are pretty cool and I really wanted to use them. He said he was actually really interested in doing a Fire Orange inspired, like that controller that I just had, so that's what we're going to be doing today. I have here a package from Funnyplaying that I'm going to be unboxing, and so we're going to just take a look at the things that I ordered from them. So I'm just going to start by opening up this box from Funnyplaying. As I said before, everything in this video is either from Funnyplaying or Bluish Squirrel. I'm going to leave links to both of those in the description for those of you wanting to do a similar project. Funnyplaying really is kind of the de facto IPS screen lens provider. They also have pre-cut shells and lots of other nice stuff. And ooh, I just love opening up a package from Funnyplaying because they pull out all the stops for their stuff. As you can see, it's in these beautiful shockproof cases. Just some really nice stuff. Alright, so we have our buttons, some stickers, and our new shell. So yeah, that shell is going to look really nice, especially with these nice matte black buttons and button membranes that are black as well. In here we have our backlight, and it's a very nice IPS screen. This right here is the actual screen. They have here a nice glass screen lens, which I will be saving for another day. And they have some spacers right here, as well as some adhesive, and then you have your ribbon cable PCB, and then some wires that we're going to talk about, and those are going to help us put in the brightness control. The very first step that we're actually going to have to do is to take apart the donor console. In order to take apart the Game Boy Advance, first you're going to have to remove some tri-wing screws, 6 in the back, and then 1 Phillips screw over the battery compartment, as well as 3 Phillips screws on the inside connecting the motherboard to the shell. This is the front part of the shell, and this is what you're going to be working with to install the screen. Now, normally the shell doesn't actually have this spot right here open, so this shell has been cut right here, and if you were to do this on your own, you would have to cut out this space. Now, this is a specially made shell by Funnyplaying. They are the ones that also manufacture the screen, so it's going to work really well for us, really well for what we're wanting to do. Now, first thing you're going to have to do is get the screen. Alright, pretty obvious, right? And then you're going to get the back PCB. Alright, and by back PCB I just mean back motherboard, and it's attached to this ribbon cable right here. With this ribbon cable, there's 2 different insertion points. There's 2 types of motherboards. Now, there's 32 pin and there's 40 pin. This right here is a 40 pin motherboard, and this right here is a 32 pin motherboard. The only difference is the number of pins. In order to figure out which one that you have, right here is a little tiny number, and the first number is indicative. So if you have a 32 pin ribbon cable acceptor, it's going to be a little 1 as the first number, and if you have a 40 pin ribbon cable, 0 will be the first number. So today we're actually going to be doing it with the 32. I have never personally done a 32 pin ribbon cable, so this might be a little interesting to see how this works out, but I'm pretty sure it's just the exact same thing. It's just you're going to bend this in a slightly different angle in order to use this ribbon cable rather than this one. So that'll be the only difference today. as you can see right here, there are different little soldering pads that we're going to be using. There's one that says L, R, and cell. Okay, and that's for left, right, and select respectively. So what we're going to do is place just a little bit of solder down on each one of these pads, and then the system comes with these wires that we're going to solder down on each one of these pads. Then later on, when we're buttoning it all up, we'll wire these wires to different parts of the PCB in order to make the brightness adjustable. For right now, what we're going to be doing is fitting the screen correctly. So the screen's pretty simple actually with these pre-cut shells. It's nicely spaced out, it's got little divots, and everything that you really need is already in place. So what we're going to have to do now is to attach the screen to the ribbon cable. As you can see, there's a small connection piece here and here. The way that you connect these is really quite simple. All that we're going to do is take this piece and put it on top of that, just like this. And you'll know that it's worked when you get a little clicky sound. From there, you're going to be able to fold this back, and I would recommend taping this down. At this point, because we're using the 32 pin insertion, we're going to fold this up just like this and make a nice crease there. It's really important. You do not want to break this. You do not want the ribbon cable to tear, and so excess of tape is permitted and even encouraged in this, just because it will allow you to do this effectively. Alright, so now I've placed down this foam. I, at this point, would recommend not actually peeling back the other side of the foam, just because if you do, it makes it actually really difficult to fix this system should you need to ever get back into it for some reason. At this point, I will be applying the front screen lens just to make it so that when I take off the screen protector and put it on, there's not going to be any scratches or dust that get into the middle. As you can see, I've now placed the screen in, the screen lens is on the other side, and I'm going to leave both those there just because I don't want any dirt or smudges getting in between that layer. It's very important that you don't do that. I also took the rest of this double-sided tape foam and just put it right here just to kind of buffer between this PCB here and the back of the screen and this board right here, just because I don't want any of these pins or anything else coming in and crunching on that and getting it messed up. The next thing that we need to do is to connect these different solder points to the board. So the first one that we need to do before we can actually close this up is actually the select solder point. So that wire is right here. It's the one that you soldered on the pad that says SEL or cell. All right, so what you're going to do, you're going to get this wire right here, put the others aside. You don't want to do L or R to this point. And on the front face of the PCB, we're going to see a small pad. I'll zoom in for you. The pad is going to be right here, okay, and it's called a TP2, all right? It's right above the start and select button, and it's on this TP2 that we're going to add some solder, and we're going to connect this wire from the cell, okay? At this point, we can add in the buttons and start putting this all back together. Okay, so at this point we are ready to put down the ribbon cable. Remember, I'm using a 32 pin ribbon cable, so it's going to be the smaller one. Afterwards, we're just going to have to tuck this 40 pin ribbon cable over a little bit. Also make sure that you've taken your wires for R and L and put them on the respective ends. All right, you don't want to mix those up either. Now at this point we are at the home stretch. All that we're going to have to do is add in these wires to their respective toggle switches. The way that you do this is you see right here on the left and on the right and left switches, there are these 4 little solder points. You're going to do the top left solder point for both of these. So that's this point right here and this point right here. Okay, so at this point you are ready to put in the side bumpers, the shoulder buttons, and the start and select button. Don't forget to put anything in, otherwise you're going to have to just open it all up again and figure it all out. So I would recommend just doing a really good job the first time and not having to worry about it afterwards. for the finishing touches on the system, I will be adding these special stickers to the back. And that's it. This is how you install the Funnyplaying IPS V2 screen with a new screen lens. Basically, we've made this into a Nintendo 64 inspired Game Boy Advance, which, while kind of funny, you know, the Nintendo 64 doesn't have much to do with the Game Boy Advance. I think it looks cool. I think it's something that is really, really nice, and I really hope that my buddy who commissioned this is really happy with it. So yes, thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video. As always, please subscribe, give this video a like, and let me know in the comments what you want to see next. Thanks, and have a great day in the wild.